Coffee with the Summerland Kids. I'm Jericho Woggan. This is Aaron Riggs. It is Wednesday, June 5th, 2024, in case you forgot what year it is. It's currently 58 degrees in Summerland, California, and it is the high of 77. So that's a good year or temperature.
Oh, yeah, gosh. I think we went down to 77 here in Orville.
Oh, wow. Last night or
And that was the overnight cold.
Oh, wow.
We broke 100 yesterday.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We might get to the 80s here today, and that's high for, I mean, it's pretty hot for here, you know, in Colorado. But the temperature this morning was probably like 50 or something, you know, 53, 54, something like that. It's pretty, it's cool. I mean, I'm able to handle it for a bit, but you know, it's still, you can wear a jacket in the morning, you know?
No, that's nice. I mean, I get up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I don't even want to put a shirt on. It's so hot.
Ooh, yeah, that's brutal. You know, it's amazing. Like up there, like there's actually greenery because I guess you guys get enough. You know, this past rain season was pretty good, actually, right, for you guys?
Yeah, I know that the soil around here is really, you know, dark clay. Okay. So when we have a good rain like this, if you dig down, you know, 6 inches, there's still moisture in the ground.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
yeah, it does cool the ground. And like, I don't know if you know anything about dry farming, but I know a lot of people do that where they plant the plants, they let the natural rain, you know, water the ground, and they don't even water for the whole year.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Wow.
Like I used to get these watermelons that were just incredibly sweet and just the best. They weren't big. They were just little watermelons, but the guy, he dry farmed them and they just had a really powerful watermelon-y good flavor.
Wow. Yeah. I've been learning a little bit about soil and how it absorbs water and the importance of it absorbing water, because if you flash flood it, I guess, it sort of goes right through and doesn't really absorb. It just sort of like hits it and tries to find pathways and run off, but it's not really absorbing. So a slow, like a rainfall, for example, like a light rain is probably preferable to slowly saturating the soil so the molecules can absorb the water, you know?
Yeah, and the plants love it, to, you know, because their leaves actually absorb nutrients and will absorb water through the leaves. So I know that the natural rain is the plants like it. They just like the natural way of things.
Right. Totally. So yeah, Aaron and I have just been recently, you know, I've been on this project for a while, but the discovery of my grandfather's artist morgue file, they call it. It's basically an image reference file. And yesterday we pulled out like highlights of history and Toledo, which is my grandfather's where he was born and raised in Toledo, Ohio, and then Thanksgiving and a file on lettering, and then caricatures, like little hand-drawn, well, usually out of magazines, caricatures, and mothers and grandparents. So these are like little manila files of my grandfather's that have the images in them, oftentimes collected, like mostly from magazines, because print was the thing back in the day. So here's like a post, and this is probably for him to refer to what grandmothers look like. So when you have to be, when you're
that's cool.
Yeah. So when you're a cartoonist and someone's like, hey, or if you're a commercial artist, you're like, someone says, I need you to make an advertisement for us to advertise toward the senior group. And then you'll go to your file and pull out some images on the from your senior, you know, this is in the mothers and grandmothers file. So it's like,
yeah, you sent a bunch of pictures to my Facebook. You mind if I put on the share right now? I'm gonna
Put it
do
on
the
share
sharing.
it. Absolutely, do it.
And I think that I've got it set up to where.
Okay, cool. Here's another one. You can see. This would be
I don't think they can see you anymore, Jericho. Wait.
What's that?
I gotta check this.
Yeah, check it out.
Let me turn it on, and then this should show us the images that I have on the Facebook. I hope.
Yeah, we'll go through the.
For whatever reason, it just stopped, but
there you go.
All right, here we go. This is the fun part.
Yeah. So maybe
family portrait. It's upside down, but that's cool.
Yeah, totally. Classic. Yeah. So we're going through the what do you call it? The technical. Let's see, is that one right side up? Yeah, that's right side up. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, that's classic. So these are just little snips that when you're collecting your imagery and associated with a certain subject matter, there's a cool like little family scene. You know, so some of the art is amazing. That's actually from I believe 1936 is the date on that newspaper. So it's not every day that you see stuff like that from or 1932. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, this here is Cincinnati Enquirer, Sunday morning, November 20th, 1932.
Yeah.
And it says, "We are our brother's keeper," which is interesting.
Yeah.
That this is our history. This is what America was about back in the day. I don't know if it's still about that.
Right. I know that there's so much good conversation around in and around this whole thing because it's so, being that we're so close to the election and all that stuff. Yeah, there's just a classic. I mean, it's almost like the iconic mom. Looks like she's like the kid's going out the back door, and the dad's like, "What?" The little
you can tell her mouth's open. She's saying something.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder what she's saying.
That's rad. That's cool.
Now this is so cool. I'm so glad you shared this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that. So again, in the grandmothers, and it's a bonus factor that you get the classic burglar character. So somehow in the old days that the burglar had the like that mask was going to be enough to disguise him from.
That's hilarious.
God. It is hilarious. Grandma's in the wheelchair. Yeah, there's a classic mom sort of like she's got the turkey and the dog's there smelling the turkey from Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Have you ever had that happen where a dog will take either the barbecue or the turkey?
Oh yeah. One time it was a classic moment. My friend Zach, we were having, he got a filet mignon or something like that. The dog just ate the whole entire filet in one shot, you know? God.
2 bites, chomp, chomp.
Yeah, exactly. 2 bites, like a shark. Classic. Yeah, so there's like a mom and a baby crying. So many various artists, you know, I haven't had a chance to do like Google Lens is such an amazing tool where you can on the Google app, I believe there's a button where the camera, so you can take a photo of like that little cartoon right there, and then you can put it into Google Lens, and it'll tell you if someone else has shared it before. There'll be a reference to what it is. So that might be a particular woman, like a celebrity, I think, perhaps, I'm not sure. But it's pretty iconic, you know, like whoever that artist had a distinct style.
No, yeah, it's to me, this is like so fun. I went for a little walk yesterday and ended up at a yard sale and just talking with this, little old lady about her stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
And it just to me, it was just so fun to talk about the old stuff. Now this is a pretty cool picture here.
That is. And, you know, later you can, you know, zoom in and, you know, that this is just, I think what they're mainly showing here is the founding fathers. This may be the signing of the Declaration of Independence, perhaps. J-Bra says he's a super historian, or knowledgeable more than most on American history. So Grandpa did the Freemasonry thing. So these are, I think it's reference to American history. So Spirit of 76. I remember in 1976 myself, and the feeling of like, there was a bunch of flags that they made, like special American flags that said 76 on it. So I think it was the bicentennial year, and they made like quarters and maybe $1 coins back in those days. Yeah, here's the guys. That's let's say Washington crossing the Delaware. Yeah, so amazing.
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting idea. The American, there's Mickey Mouse, Goofy.
Yeah.
But I think it's just such an interesting idea that America was founded by rebels.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we came over from Europe, a lot of us, on ships, of course, and then came through, was it Ellis Island, and because Europe, I went over to Berlin, and I definitely felt like that's where I came from, and it felt like a little more rootsy and a little more sophisticated. It's kind of like we came over here, and of course, the people that came over here first they had to be pretty rugged, to survive, the elements, and especially arriving to back east. Back east is a little bit more, I want to say, a harsher climate than the West Coast, of course. So yeah, there's the original OG American flag, I think. That's amazing.
I wonder how long it's been since some of these pictures have even been seen.
Dude, it's been, I would say Grandpa he was somewhat still active, definitely active in the 80s, the 1980s. So that's probably when he, more or less stopped going to the file in like, let's say the late 80s, maybe early 90s. I mean, he kept it because a lot of the images are from like there's a fair abundance of stuff in the 30s because he was born in 1911. So once he got conscious to art, that's when he started collecting images to work from. When he knew he needed a reference, because I think he was pushed by his brother. Yeah, that's a good one. That one's classic. So it's like a comic book or Sunday Funnies page, but they're giving kids the education on American history through cartooning.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm just looking at this image, of the first flag, "Don't tread on me."
Right.
That's a powerful, thing.
Right.
As far as back then, the people saying, "Hey, government, don't tread on me."
Right. Yeah. I mean, back then it was
that's the goal of it, right?
Right. Yeah. So here's Betsy Ross, American. So I think that's the lady who originally sewed the first flag. Classic, man. This is stuff that we learned this stuff in like 6th grade. But I think history in high school, it may have been mandatory that we took one history class. I honestly can barely remember that,
I think there was an American history class and a world history class.
Right, like a current events type of thing, yeah. So yeah, the files are pretty full. Let me see if I can find some caricatures here. Here's a classic. Let me see if I can.
Let me stop the screen share so we can.
Okay.
See what's going on in the thing.
Yeah. So this one's interesting. Let's see here if I can.
Here, I'm gonna expand you.
Yeah.
I think I've got this figured out.
That's cool. So here's a guy. This is like in the caricatures file.
Here, let me switch.
All right.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to.
we're getting it down.
Let's level. I got to get level 4, Jericho.
I know it's like reverse engineering a video game. So what's interesting about these things is like this is basically handpicked out of a magazine because Grandpa wanted to see what you just have references, and then this is like I would say the A side because that's A side the page, and then on the back side they also have some interesting things because it's like a B side of the image, which is fascinating to me. Um, let's see. Um, find some other stuff here. Yeah, so we're going basically. We're going through my grandfather Bill Logan behind me. This is his some of his image file. You know, it's called an artist morgue that hasn't really seen the light of day since probably the ever really. I mean, this is a personal file kept by my grandfather in paper form because Grandpa never. I don't think he ever used a computer to be honest, because you know they were using regular phones and that's pretty much it. I mean, he had subcontractors that did the printing, and oftentimes he would send stuff out to like, look at that dude.
That's cool.
Yeah, so just little, you know, sometimes they're like recognizable to us, even though we're a lot younger than my grandfather, of course. Aaron, I think you were born in 1971, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 1970, so this stuff is like from the 30s, 40s, 50s. I imagine I have some stuff. I definitely have some stuff from the 1920s as well. So it
Oh,
just
wow.
really, yeah, it definitely is a wow factor. I mean, I'm tempted to want to hold on to some of this stuff, but you know, but I definitely want to get a binder. That's my goal, is to get it into the binders. I think that might be one of our presidents. Let's see, is that Roosevelt? Yeah, let's see here. Yeah,
Yep.
Franklin D. Roosevelt. So for those American history buffs, so a lot of times I think these caricatures were done by artists to sort of in good humor, good, you know, look at that. What the hell, man?
Oh, what is that?
I don't even know, man. It's probably a woman who is, let me see what it's a fluttery and futile Zazu Pitts appearing in The Meanest Gal in Town at RKO Downtown Friday was sketched by an artist in one of her fluttery and futile moments. So an actress, Zazu Pitts. I knew a Bart Pitts. He
I
was a
wonder
friend
if
of mine.
that's any relation to Brad Pitt.
Yeah, exactly. It could be. It could be his grandmother, dude. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I love Brad for his acting, and you know, I know he's done some work, you know, helping kids of the world. Look at this lady. So just like, you know, a lot of times out of you know, the Saturday Evening Post or the Time Magazine, Vanity Fair, you know, wherever he was sourcing, you know, Grandpa was this actually is a character of Garbo, Greta Garbo by Joe Grant, emphasizes the facial characteristics of the star, the heavy lips, closed eyes, high forehead, snaky eyebrows, which have apparently been taken as a model for the new school of shady dames. So
Shady Dames. Wait, hold on.
Shady dames.
Rewind. The Shady Dames, huh? Because that was
Yeah,
a big
exactly.
thing back in the 20s and 30s, huh?
Yeah. So the artist's name is Joe Grant. His signature is super small in the very little corner right there. You can hardly see it, but it's basically Joe Grant. It's a caricature of Greta Garbo. Like again, emphasizing her facial characteristics of a star: heavy lips, closed eyes, high forehead, snaky eyebrows, which have been apparently taken as a model for the new school of shady dames. So, back then, I think there was a guy named Max Factor in early Hollywood. They really kind of like, it was so pioneering in the time where makeup and hair and all that, they had a whole system that they did for makeup for people on camera, and they really refined that to what the audience would see, and then essentially we started mimicking what Hollywood was doing or something. Like if you were a dapper gentleman and you saw that the dapper gentleman on the movie screen looked like this, you might take on that persona yourself. So
No, that's culture for you, though. That
yeah,
really
culture.
is,
Exactly.
and that's people's nature.
Yeah.
They say imitation is the greatest compliment,
Right.
right? So I could see how some of these stars could influence, a big, large number of people
For
just by
sure.
being present, being who they are, and saying, "Hey, yeah, look at this unique whatever. I got a unique beard, or unique hair, or unique
Yeah.
eyebrows."
Totally. So here's Stars Under the Stars. Ella Fitzgerald and Nat King Cole appear in Bull concerts. So here's Nat and Ella in like a formal get up, doing their singing and music back in the day, as drawn by a cartoonist. Because back then, oftentimes the cartooning and drawing was easier and maybe cheaper than hiring a photographer, because an artist can draw with a pen and paper, and some of them are so talented that they don't need like they're not copying anything. They're literally like almost like a human Xerox machine, where they look at they look at a photograph, or they look at the actual person, and they can draw them like with really realistic almost exact, in some cases,
Yeah,
looks.
the photorealistic artwork.
Yeah, photorealistic artwork. It's
I've looked at
amazing.
some of that, and I'm just blown away how someone can take from their mind to their fingers and a pen and be so precise, so exact, and as far as that photorealism. But then I've also, like some of these cartoons you've been showing, these comics, they're exaggerated eyebrows,
Yeah,
exaggerated hairstyles,
right.
um, and
Totally.
that's kind of neat too.
So that's Liberace, one of those classic piano players from back in the day, who always had like a candelabra, and he was pretty flamboyant, a classic character. So these guys made a living being themselves, but like a radical version of themselves, for sure. Like they embraced all the colors of the rainbow, so to speak, and but the audience loved them, because they were so wild. And then these caricatures are kind of like, did you ever go to Disneyland? Have you been to
Yeah,
Disneyland? Yeah. So there
I
was a little
remember
thing where,
Disneyland when it was free to get in.
oh my God, that's
You remember the
amazing.
e-tickets? You had the little packet of tickets. You had A tickets, B tickets, C tickets, D tickets, and the e-ticket
The
got you on the
e-ticket. That's rad. So at Disneyland, there would be these artists that would draw you real quick. They maybe they make a few bucks to draw someone really fast. So that's essentially a caricature. And so they key in on the person's face and the features and accentuate things a little bit. So it's sort of like a hyper realized cartoon version of yourself, but it's done very quickly, and it does look like you. Or if you say, I remember telling the guy, like, kid, what do you like to do? I like to skateboard. So he draws you with a giant head, tiny body, and a little skateboard. And you're just stoked as a kid to have that. It's like, that's me.
Yeah, because it looks like you. I
Yeah.
do have one. Someone drew for me maybe 5 or 10 years back. It was an artist that did those caricatures,
Right.
And I just thought it was so cool because they captured my beard and they captured, the essence of me, kind of accentuated some of the things. And I just thought it was just wow, to sit and pose or whatever for 5 minutes and then have this picture drawn. Now I'm a
Right.
cartoon.
Yeah. So I think that the hack back then for publications was artists were essentially on staff, like my grandfather, his brothers Elmer, John. So it was Bill, Elmer, John, and Glenn. They all were on staff at a newspaper, the Toledo Blade, back in the day, in the art department, so to speak. So they were always, constantly drawing and constantly creating for the newspaper, because the newspaper on an everyday rotation, that's a lot of content to produce every single day. To publish a print publication on the everyday, that's a big deal. So those guys were literally grinding it out, like
Oh yeah, it's a grind. I do
Yeah,
the poems and I try to do them every day.
right. No,
And
for
it
sure.
really is, a job per se. I mean, maybe not a
It
job,
is, for
but
sure.
to do that every day as a job. And you're saying it was three brothers there at the
Four
Toledo?
brothers. It was
Four
four.
brothers.
Yeah. And
That just
they all
sounds
got jobs
really
there.
cool.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a classic. So that's Ernest Hemingway, famous author. I have some of his books. I got to get into it because I know these guys. These guys are like the dudes of the 20th century who were like living life and writing about it. And essentially, my dad said something about like painting a picture with your words. So it really kind of gets you. You can say a lot with words, of course, and it means a lot to the reader. The description of the river, if it's like, it was brisk, it was a cold morning, there was fog on the river, and I saw a fish jump, and I went quickly and grabbed my fishing pole. I mean, whatever the story, however it goes, but it's like it draws you in and pulls you into that environment. So
Yeah, I've always loved storytelling, story writing. I think that's one of the things that draws me to our daily coffee shows, because we get to tell
yeah,
each other these stories that are fun, and I get to listen
exactly.
to your stories, and that's fun, and I get to share some of my stories, and that's fun.
Yeah,
And
no, for
I think
sure.
the art of storytelling has evolved over the years,
Mm.
from like you're saying, from print and newspaper to movies to sound movies to color movies to now you got storytellers that use CGI, that use technology, that use AI, and the art of storytelling, I think, is maybe a lost art because of
Yeah,
technology, but at the same time, um, you talk about 19th or 18th, 19th century, 20th century,
yep,
and it
yeah,
seems so long ago because I guess we're in the 21st century. I've
yeah,
got a cat
exactly.
in the rafters. I keep looking up because the cat's wandering around up in the rafters on I got some
That's
stuff,
awesome.
and
Adventure Cat. So
yeah,
yeah, so we're
she's an
Aaron and I,
adventure.
we're independent creative artists, and we're essentially like Neil Young. We're sponsored by nobody, so to speak. I mean, I can thank my family for sure, for mom, my hippie parents for both living pretty clean lives for the most part. I mean, mom got carried away at some point, but more or less like from their standpoint of having property where I'm able to be right now on mom's land, and so I'm thankful for that, and thankful for grandpa and Aaron, of course, just people that support other creative individuals and support our journeys. So we're sponsored by ourselves, so to speak.
We're sponsored by Tigger.
Yeah, Tigger and Higher Grounds Coffee.
He brought
Exactly.
his exclamation point to explain
Yeah,
or exclaim or
yeah, totally. So we're coffee with the Summerland kids. We enjoy hanging out, and we shout out to all our classmates from Summerland School and California West Coast. Um, Yeah, so that's another show.
Excellent. I'm gonna do the thing. See
Yeah,
that?
do the thing.
Do the
Like and,
likes. Smash, smash, smash.
yeah,
Do
remind
the
us, Aaron.
subscribe.
You're A.W.O.L Aaron on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I haven't been
A.W.O.L.
doing too much AWOL stuff. I mean, off the wall, absent without leave. There's a whole backstory to
Yeah,
that moniker,
right.
which is very interesting, But we'll get into that later. Just
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
maybe
I'm Derek
someday.
Long, and this is Aaron Riggs right here. We're rocking out
Coffee with the
coffee with
Summerland
Summerland
kids.
kids.
Oh yeah, it's been a while. Tigger says it.
Yeah,
Top for now.
ta-ta for now.